Welcome to Access a Trader, the #1 community for those who are committed to taking control of their trading in order to achieve success, profitability, and longevity. Thank you for joining us. Here's Dan Shapiro to help you find your edge, master your process, and own your future.
Hey guys, good evening everybody. Welcome to another edition of the AccessATrader.com nightly wrap-up show. Hope everybody is doing well, happy. What the hell is today? Today's Tuesday or Wednesday? I think today's Wednesday. Happy Wednesday, everybody. Happy hump day. Guys, take a second out, support the channel. It takes a second. Click a like, share, subscribe if you haven't come aboard already. And again, hopefully I will continue to add value to your day-to-day basis. So Dow, again, market really scoreboard really doesn't take anything into consideration of the tape. You have the Dow down 200 points, S&P down 16, NASDAQ pretty much flat, up 6 points on the day. Some hot inflation reading this morning. Christmas tree effect on a lot of names, led by the semis for the most part, pretty weak. There's one that's standing out very well, and we'll get to some ideas, some setups for tomorrow, both long and short that I do like. What we're seeing right now is a little bit of what we've been talking about for several weeks. It feels like the market's not strong enough to kind of push through on majority of names, but they're not weak enough yet to kind of come back in. This is kind of where we keep on straddling above the 50-day moving average. And if you look at the QQQs, that's exactly what's happening. Any sell-off is getting defended on the 50-day moving average. So as long as, again, this is the most important part, and this is where you want to pay attention if you are exposed to a lot of positions, if you're a swing trader, overnight trader, whatever the case may be, as long as we stay above the 50-day moving average, we are fine. The problem continues to be, again, if you draw this line here, this interval since December is a series of events of lower highs. So far, it's not playing out to any type of red flags. But again, you have to be conscious. Here's a high. Here's a lower high. Here's another lower high. Let's see what happens if there's a third time through. Now that we're pretty much into the last lap of earnings, you have NVIDIA's the last one that is going to report as far as the mega cap space, at least the names that I follow. I think it's next week or the week after. We're pretty much in the books. So far, not a great quarter. Again, you can see only there's a handful of names that did well this quarter, especially just in the reactionary area. Meta continues to literally not care. Meta goes up, it feels like every day. Market's up, Meta goes up. Market down, Meta goes up. It's had literally one candle in the last 3 weeks since it broke out. So kudos to Meta. PLTR continues to act incredibly well. This is where we talk about if you're going to buy these stocks and they're way above their range, buy them into support, right? And understand where your demand and supply zones are. There's a reason why I say that, because a favorite of ours got rejected perfectly into supply today. And a lot of people were shocked of what happened, because that's what happens. What happens, stocks trade from supply to supply and demand and demand. We'll get to Tesla in a second. You have names, for example, like Affirm, right? Again, beautiful, beautiful quarter. Keep an eye on this thing in the next couple of days. Just like PLTR, you want to see it kind of get a little bit of weakness, a little bit of profit taking into the 5-day support, and you want to bounce there. Tomorrow, we have a bunch of slew of earnings coming out for tomorrow. Let me just give you guys some names. For tomorrow, what do you got tomorrow? You got Tulo, Coinbase, PanW, nothing really crazy. And you have DraftKings. As well. This afternoon after the close, Robinhood, we saw some really, really big call buying prior to its quarter, is having a phenomenal reaction. So again, overall, there is, again, disconnected from the leaders that we talked about a couple of videos ago, and the new kind of momentum names that are really showing their aggression this time around. So let's start off with Tesla, right? This was literally my only focus on today's session. I liked some other names, I just never got there. We talked about the last video, and I apologize, there was no video last night. My daughter had a game that was scheduled a little bit early, so it was impossible for me to record a video. But we knew, we talked about in the last video that in the next 48 hours, that Tesla was going to, have a dead cat bounce. I mean, it's against, I don't care how bad a company is or a chart is. It doesn't make a difference. If stocks don't go straight down, there will be some sort of very, very aggressive moves back to the upside. Again, we'll get to the individual pivots in a second. But the most important part is the idea that people are buying stocks underneath the 50-day moving average, and they're saying the stocks are oversold. The first time I heard when Tesla closed below the 50-day moving average was on January the 27th. Somebody said, Dan, why would you be shorting Tesla? It's oversold. And I'm like, it's oversold. It's the first day below the 50-day moving average, and yada, yada, yada. The stock went from 384 all the way down to 325. And today we got a pretty good bounce, really, really good bounce. I wanted to really get that washout kind of baby, throw the baby out with the bathwater type of scenario. Once the data came out, stocks got slammed. You could see Tesla was holding up very, very well. It was one of the very few names that didn't get slammed after the data came out. And the question was, well, can't it finally give us a dead cat bounce? And this was literally the only pivot that we had here. At least the only trades I took. Tesla 334. 334.60 and the 337.16 pre-market highs. They needed to confirm. Stock did great. Did go great right away? No. It went up $1 here, came back in. Went up another $1, came back in. Went up another $1, came back in. But the point is, stocks do trade from supply to supply and demand to demand. Somebody asked me, and our target today was 346. 346 was the next supply zone. It put it in a lower high from the previous day. And somebody asked me on social media when I always joke around. I always try to be very lighthearted, but I will give you really, really good content there. And I said, hey, just put it at 346 and start from there, right? And 346 was the supply. So somebody tweeted at me, he goes, yeah, you're right, Dan. It's a buy there. It's not a buy there, it's a sell there. You don't buy stocks into supply, you sell stocks into supply. And then literally when the stock finally got into that 346 supply, you saw news come out, right? You saw news come out maybe 10, 15 minutes later that Elon Musk he's kind of like putting all his attention to this like Doge thing, right? First when I heard Doge, I was like, what the hell is he talking about? Dogecoin? Apparently this whole wasteful campaign that the government just spends money, nobody's accountable for anything. So he basically said, look, I'm going to take 3-4 months out of my schedule, and I want to concentrate and make sure there is no frivolous spending from the government. And yeah, the market did not like that. You could see literally in the last 10 minutes of the day, Tesla sold off 10 points. So folks, obviously nobody knew this news was coming out. Sometimes you just get lucky. But what you can control, right, and you don't need to be lucky, is you have to know where your supply zones are. Again, we didn't just wake up this morning and go, well, wouldn't it be cool if we sold the high of the day at 346? 346 was supply. And anybody who bought stock into that 346 supply, remember, it's not a detriment that the stock will never go up again. It's just now you're in God's hands. And, nobody ever wants to be in a position, nobody ever wants to be in a trade that you're hoping and praying it comes back. So again, folks, you don't even need to understand the PS60 theory. If you don't care about it, that's cool. But you really need to know where your daily supplies are. You have to know where your daily demands are, because now, an hour ago, I was thinking, hey, maybe we could get a day two, right? Maybe we could get a day two move on Tesla. And now it's looking like there's a higher probability, it's going to lose its bottom range before it reclaims back the top range. Again, I don't know, right? Tomorrow we could turn around and starts taking back today's range and we're flying again. But now we're $10 away from today's highs, but we're only $6 away from today's lows. So it's going to be very, very interesting to see what happens with Tesla for tomorrow. Names, right? Names like UPST, right? We talked about UPST. I want to show you the reason why I'm talking about UPST. UPST now, because of Affirm, because of PLTR, it's setting up just like those other two stocks. UPST, if you watch the video from like 3 days ago when we talked about Affirm, I'm going to say exactly the same thing that I told you guys to watch out on UPST, the same way I told you to watch out Affirm. if we can get any type of weakness, right? If literally any type of weakness tomorrow morning and there's any type of profit selling, profit taking, you want to be buying UPST into rising 60-minute support, okay? Because what's going to happen is there's going to be a little bit of profit taking. Short's going to get trapped. You know, they figure it's me, oh, it's a one-hit wonder. No, it's not. Usually when you have a great quarter, you're probably going to follow through on earnings highs somewhere in the next 24 to 36 hours. So UPST, watch this thing for tomorrow. Any weakness, right? Any weakness into rising support, you should be a buyer. And if it goes red to green and takes out today's natural pivot, right? Natural channel, you might get a really, really aggressive second day move. Apple, right? We were like 2 days away from like Apple, hey, watch the bottom of the range, watch the bottom of the range. Obviously never got down to the bottom of the range. Yesterday, they came out with news about having some sort of pact, I forgot what it was, with Alibaba. And now this is the first close, although it's still below the 50-day moving average. Apple now is above intermediate supply. If it can get back above today's channel and confirm, there's a chance that this market doesn't fall off a cliff. It could start going back to the 50-day moving average, roughly to this 240, 241 level. So definitely a name you want to watch for tomorrow. Let me give you guys some other names because I'm running a little bit late. I have to take my daughter to training. Let me give you guys, there's some really good value for tomorrow. Guys, look at Avago. Look at Avago. This is now one of the nicest looking distribution channels I've seen anywhere. I don't care if it's beta. I don't care if it's non-beta. Avago is putting in a distribution channel of more than a week now. We saw some 250 calls come out. We saw some January, February, March 370 calls come out. I know they're coming out with earnings soon, but if there's going to be a run prior to earnings, it needs to get above this flag here from the February highs. Because if it does take out the February highs, it can really, really wake up. I still like Mo. Okay, this is just distributing here, still above the 50-day moving average. Hasn't confirmed yet. We talked about Mo last couple of days. Keep an eye on that as well. Snow, look at Snow, guys. Snow, it doesn't look like Avago, but it doesn't look that much different. Keep an eye on Snow. It's not that far away of reclaiming back the top of the range. If this thing wakes up, could be really good. And last but not least, well, there's two more. Watch NVIDIA, right? So we knew that it needed to get back above the 50-day moving average. NVIDIA got rejected off the 50-day moving average, but it held, right? It held the 65-day. So we're getting a pretty clean potential on both sides here. On the upside, it needs to get back above the 50-day moving average. And to the downside, if it loses today's channel and gives back the 65-day EMA, it can get hit as well. So that's really, really good as well. And last but not least is Amazon, right? Look how close Amazon is from losing its earnings lows, guys, right? Look how close. It's hanging on. It's hanging on from its earnings lows. If you look at the last stock that I traded that lost its earnings lows was Google, right? You guys remember from like 3-4 videos ago? Google lost its earnings highs, got absolutely smoked. So look at Amazon. I don't think it's going to get smoked initially just because the 50-day moving average is going to be acting as a buffer. But if it starts losing earnings lows, it could definitely give us at least trade. So again, crazy market. It's always crazy. Don't try to figure it out. Don't try to guess. Don't try to forecast. Your opinion means nothing. My opinion means absolutely nothing. We are all stupid. Don't think you're smarter than the market. Price action is king. Understanding your supply and demand zones is the cheat code. And don't try to be otherwise. Guys, God bless everybody. Have a great night. And with God's help, I'll see you all on the field tomorrow.